All right. Good morning, Optimus. Just gonna check to make sure that we actually went live because last week we had some weird issue. We didn't actually end up going live, and we just did a stream that didn't ever get online. Okay, cool. We are live, like actually live. All right. So, feels better. All right, let's go ahead and jump on in. Mark is kind of ripping today. Don't know exactly why, so we'll have to kind of figure that out. But let's go ahead and jump on in. You can see popping all the way up to 41.57. It's craziness, absolute craziness. I say crazy because I mean, like we're approaching like the highs of the year right now. I think this is the high of this year. Here is 1 year ago. We were up there at 45.88. This is the very first day of Q2. So very first day of the quarter. You can see actually we got a 5,200 crossover right here back on Jan 31. Never used the 5,200 on a daily chart, but let's take a look at the last 6 months. Just a 4-hour chart. Been kind of ripping up since about here. Since like March 28th, we've basically just been ripping up. We're up $150 since March 28th. Very nice return over the last couple of days. Gonna remove some of these old drawings. Just have a little too much here. I think over 2 days. This. All right. Starting to get a little bit of cooling off there on the 3-minute side. We've broke the upper band of the VWAP several times. Here, right there. And now we're kind of leveling off on the upper band of the VWAP. Just kind of looks like a flag. So this could potentially pop again. We may be approaching a head and shoulders on the day. Look at the 5. 5 is still on the upswing. The room down to 50, up to 58. Switch to the 1-minute chart. I still think we're bullish right now. The whole day is pretty much bullish at the moment. And we've been ripping and bouncing very nicely off of our moving averages. We may be coming towards the end of this run though. You see a lot of decline in the TTM But also, we've tested these highs and broke them several times. So, what's up, Tiny? Good to see you. Happy Monday. We'll be trading in the sim today, and for the next 2 weeks, we'll be trading in the sim. Remember, it's a short week. Markets close on Friday. And we haven't checked the market news yet. Oil futures surged after Saudi Arabia, and I did see last night there was a big change in oil, but I didn't take the time on it. Oil futures surged after Saudi Arabia let a surprise oil production out across several OPEC and member countries. Oil production cut across. Which plan to remove more than 1 million barrels of oil from output by May. The Financial Times reported the likely trigger for the move, citing people familiar with the situation. Saudi Arabia was irritated by comments made last month by U.S. Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm, who said it would be difficult for the U.S. to take advantage of low oil prices to replenish the strategic petroleum reserve because of maintenance at 2 of the 4 sites. Trigger for Saudi oil production move was comment that U.S. would not refill SPR this year. Report says the move dealt a blow to expectations that inflation might be easing further. I think this is crazy. I don't know why they would not, why they don't want to refill our oil supply. It's so ridiculous to me. Monday, there's a big drop in the market there. So, like I said, I thought we were heading towards the peak of the day, and it looks like we were. We're heading down some now. Go for a short off 50. I don't think we're going to go down that far. We may find support right here. But we have dropped all the way down to 47. 47.50. I was looking for a bounce and a rejection, but it just kind of struggled to. Now it entered me. We're in short of 48, but I didn't really like that trade. We ended up getting out flat, so we just paid fees. I was actually looking for this to bounce up to the 50 and then reject off that. Entered long at 47, trying to get out of 48. It's not really my strategy, so I'm just going to cut it. There we go. So we got that little bounce off 47. Wasn't really my strategy, so I decided to cut it a little early. Yeah, I actually think that there's a high probability that it will actually bounce here off the 50 range. Especially because the rest of our moving averages are very, very much in bullish form. So if I kind of pull this out, our 200 is way down here below the VWAP. We still have, so our 35 is in bullish above our 50. The three that we have that are in bearish is the 9, 12, and the 26, and currently the TTM. But I think in TTM, we have a pretty good probability of this switching from a red to yellow and then running back up towards like the 50 or the 35. Both are around 4150. So I think there's a pretty high probability of popping up there to those areas. We are kind of approaching on a head and shoulders, though. You can see right in here. Here's shoulder 1. Here's the head. We're about to probably approach shoulder 2 and then shoulder 3 or shoulder 2. We're about to probably approach the right shoulder, which would likely be a bounce here, followed by a subsequent drop. I'm going to check the Market Watch news. Today we got Bullard speaking. That already happened at 5:30. Everything's already taken place besides the Governor Cook, the Fed Gov Cook, speaking at 1:15 today. Construction spending, SM manufacturing. So this is stuff that came out today. At a doji at the bottom here at 69 or 69, 46.50. Kind of leveling off on the TTM on the red side from 5.16 to 5.5 to 5.6. You can see that level off beginning to take place. Join the bid right here. We'll try to get in around 48.50. We're in at 48, and I'm gonna try to get out at 49.25. Currently, we're finding resistance at that 9 EMA. We got 5.5 to 5.78. It's looking less favorable, like less, I guess, gonna pop back up. There's a pretty decent sized rejection there. We're currently at risk level 5.5 to 5.84, so 5.88. So this one has a little more potential here. We're gonna need to break above the 9 EMA in order to keep this. I didn't realize that the volume is kind of low today. Actually, scratch that. Volume is actually pretty good. It's just our average volume is around 5,000, which is actually pretty high. Continuing to drop 6.0 to 6.2. I actually don't really like this trade anymore. We're hitting a doji down there. 5.8 to 6.0 to 6.2. Yeah, I think this is going to need to go to like 5.7 on the TTM here. And doesn't look like that's going to happen. We got a lot of sell orders heading in, so I'm going to cut this. Loss on that one of like 450. Puts us down 300 on the day, and we're continuing to drop here in the S&P. Let's take a look at the NAS. NQ is a little bit more volatile today, pulling back to the VWAP. I trade the NAS. Dropping below VWAP on the NAS. Get a quick $10 on the short there on the NASDAQ. NASDAQ has a lot of volatility, dropping heavily on the NASDAQ. It is up quite a bit today. Well, actually, it's down to 87. NAS is continuing to drop. Yes, probably doing the same thing. Yeah, ES continuing to drop. Bounce off VWAP on the ES. A lot of buys right there. Probably shorts covering. It's pulling down to 7.2 on the TTM. New ones coming in at 7.2 as well. We pulled all the way down to 42.5. Starting to enter into bearish form. You can see the 35 is beginning to get below the 50. And the TTM has been solidly red for a while. Honestly, utility could have just shorted this thing textbook TTM style and just gone short from like 48 down to 40. Yeah, I've had like View app is kind of weird because like depending on how it's set up, you have like some pretty reasonable variances in its price. 7.5 to 7.7 on the TTM. We'll see if we actually get a bounce here off the View app. I have less confidence in this now because you can actually see that 35 is dipping below the 50. The 200 has been slightly moving up at a pretty slow pace, though, I might add. That the 200 has been moving upward. But if the 200 gets above the View app, I mean, like, there's a this was a heavy Head and Shoulders. I mean, we just dropped $20 in the ES since we started trading. I mean, there we are here at 730 that we peaked at that time. We pulled all the way back down to 38. One short off the top there would pass the whole eval. Speaking of evaluations, we'll be back in the eval in about 2 weeks. But if y'all are trying to earn funding in the futures market, be sure to check out Elite Trader Funding. These guys are awesome. They have wonderful customer service. And you can actually earn funding all the way up to 300,000. So, personally, I've been really happy with these guys as far as a company is concerned. Their website's easy to understand. It's well laid out. They have great customer service, and they operate a Discord community, like most modern companies do. And I really like that because I think that really adds a lot of value because you can actually have conversations with people. Right now, fast track evaluations are 50% off. That ends today. So you can actually use coupon code JSBEST, and that should take advantage of that. So you can actually get a 25K account for half off, $22.50, I think. These ones you do have to no minimum days to pass during the flash sale. Oh, okay, so you literally no minimum days to pass. So you can pass the same day. So if you can make $2,000 in one day, right here on the fast track, they put a thing in here, no minimum days. So you can literally get funded today. You can make $2,000 in one day. You can get funded. Yo, that's crazy. So that's a $750 drawdown. There's a link in the description for that. But for $22.50, you can take 2 minis, 20 micros, $750 drawdown. You have a $2,000 profit target. No minimum days to pass during the flash sale. Now, normally this has a maximum of 14 days on it. But it looks like that's not there right now for the flash sale either. Yo, that's crazy, man. I didn't even know that was going on. Not right now, Tiny. On the fast tracks, not right now. So normally it's 14 days, but with a minimum of 5 days. But according to their website, there's no time frame. You just buy it and go. All right, we finally got a yellow on the TTM, like an actual yellow. 7.7 to 7.36. Okay, so I'm gonna join the bid here. We're in at 37.50. I'm gonna look for a 12 tick move up. I'm looking for a $3 move up. Basically, I'm looking for a move up towards the VWAP. I'm actually gonna put this right on VWAP though. So that means I'm gonna drop this 2 ticks. So I'm gonna look for 10 ticks. We got a doji at the bottom. TTM went from 8.7 to 8.4. Now we're at 8.1. So I'm gonna be looking for some buyer momentum surge up here. Watch out for rejection on the 9 EMA though, which is at 39. We're trying to get out at 40. Entry at 37.50. More sellers stepping in. .4 to 8.2 to 8.0. Moving up at about a factor of 0.2 or so. So with the TTM, there is potential that this will pop. There is a 200 moving average here and a VWAP, and we've got a lot of things pointing in bearish form. So really, I'm gonna have to reduce this down to like 38.50. Or even down to 38. Mainly because I can't really trust this to get above the 200 moving average. Especially not with the 9 dipping below it. 9 is still diverging from it. So this has more potential, I think, for another short than a pop. And there's the drop. Yep. So we got a market order to try and get out of that. Oh, there it goes. Sometimes you just got to clear the cash in order to get it to sell. The one that I can take a month to get my goal before I have to pay again. Yeah, that makes sense. The these ones don't have a rebill. Usually the fast tracks don't have a rebill. They just basically just trade it until you pass or fail. That's normally the way the fast tracks work, but there's obviously some changes to the fast track here right now. Fast track valuations, confident in your skills and think you can hit your profit target quickly, pay less, and fast track yourself. Intraday, unrealized profit trading drawdown. So A max drawdown of 750 intraday. This does say requires a minimum of 5 trading days. Then they have a bold right here that says no minimum days to pass during the flash sale. So during the flash sale, you can do it within that time frame. No resets allowed, no scaling. You get NinjaTrader as well as Tradeovate. The other one's for free. Free real-time data. After that, once you qualify, it's $80 a month. These ones are half off right now. So click the see more details link. Probably the same old information that it normally was. That's trailing drawdown information. So normally they have a 14-day maximum on the fast tracks, but I didn't see that listed there. I would just assume that it's still there. So, all right. TTM's continuing to remain stable down here. But you can see we're below the 200 moving average. Our 35 has crossed below 50, giving us more bearish move. I mean, we're very much in bearish formation. So might look for a short off like the 9 moving average, which is like right here at 35. And the TTM is giving us opposite information. The TTM is telling us that, hey, there's a potential bounce inbound. But our moving averages are telling us this is continuing to push downward. Big push by shorts right there off the 9 EMA. With this little bear flag. Buyers kind of stepping in, shorts covering. TTM is moving from 6.9 to 6.4. So TTM is kind of stacking up a little bit. We have a hammer candle down here at the bottom. Really, it's the moving averages that I'm kind of paying more attention to right now, just because we're seeing really heavy decline in the overall market. And you can see the moving averages are all pointed in bearish. So the TTM, even though it's saying that we have a potential trend reversal inbound, it's not. It's being contradicted by a lot of the moving averages right now. From 6.4 to 5.9, that's a pretty heavy move up, man. Been long at 34. It's hard to ignore the TTM, man. Maybe I put too much confidence in it. 6.4 to 6.1 to 5.6. It's weird if we continue to drop, just because we're seeing pretty decent numbers actually on the stack up. Either way, I'm trying to get out of 35. Our entry's at 34. Yeah, for sure. Anything with a maximum to me feels stressful. Honestly, like just feels stressful to me. Even with the stack on the TTM, and the stack is pretty high, going from 6.1 to 5.5 to 5.2 now. So it's less high, but even with the stack on the TTM, we're still continuing to drop. And I guess all the moving averages, like I said, say so. Like all sellers there, man. Getting below the 200 moving average on the 3-minute side. When in doubt, zoom out. Try to go short off like 32. See if we pop back up that high, but there's a reasonable amount of sell orders in between. Well, at the time we were at like 31.25, 31.50, so a little bit of a pop and drop would have been ideal, but it doesn't look like that's the case because we ended up getting below 30. So I'm gonna cut that, see if we can go maybe short off 31. We have a green candle inbound. It's short at 30.75. Put the exit at 29. It might bounce off 30 though. The bottom of the VWAP's all the way down at 41.20. So we may even have room down to the bottom. I have a new candle at 8.12. on the 3-minute side. Let's say earlier the 5-minute. 5 minutes been on heavy decline. Five-minute actually has the 35 approaching the 50 moving average. I don't know. I think it may end up down at like 25. I'm gonna go all the way down to 27. .5, 8.5. Switch back to the 3-minute candle. Going from 13.2 to 15.0 on the TTM. Our exit's at $27 now. We're almost at 8:12, so 5 seconds, so we'll have a new candle. $15.0 to 16.0, popping up slightly. Yeah, it looks like we're finding support here, so I'm gonna cut this. We'll just see where it lets us out. Hopefully it lets us out sooner rather than later. There we go. Get some money back. It's always very frustrating when it just sits there and just bounces around for 30 seconds or something like that. We've got this on the 3-minute chart. You can see the 35 is approaching the 50 EMA. We pop back up to 31, and let's see if we get a rejection off of that. GTM on the 3 is going from 13.2 to 15 to 15.9 on the downside. Like I said, I thought we had room down at the bottom of the VWAP down here at 21. I think 25 is a little bit more reasonable than basically going all the way down to low, but all of our moving averages are pointing in the downward direction, so I was going to try to short off 30. Mostly buyers this last 3 minutes. Let's get a 5200 cross on the downside. This one, if you notice, the 200 moving average stayed below the volume weighted average price. What this potentially could indicate is that we may get the 5200 cross like we just got right there, but this might find support off around 30 and then rip up. So this may be a temporary cross down, and I say that because we've been kind of pulling up and hanging out around 30. The TTM on the 1-minute chart has been slowly inclining, so it's been slowly working its way upward. which sort of tells me that there is likely some people that are accumulating positions through here for a potential rip up. Entered long off 29 for an exit off of 31. TTM moving from 4.1 to 4.0 to 3.5. It's a pretty good stack up there. So it looks to me like this is the support level. This is the bottom here around 41.30 area. So that actually is at our sell order. It's tapping above it and now filled. Okay, so we made 300 back on that. This looks like we're at the bottom of this, that we may begin to get a trend reversal. And I've been seeing this in this slightly bullish market that we've been having for the last, 10 days or so, where this 5,200 crossover on the downside will happen and it will push down. But then once it does, it pushes right back up. And that's very different than what we were seeing through February. I'm going to join the bid here. See if I can get an entry. I'm going to wait for, I'd like for it to actually pull back and fill. Okay, so it kind of pulled back a little bit. We're in at 31.50. Looking to get a 33.50. But I think that this has room up to 35. But we'll keep our sell order at 33.50. Just stay a little more on the conservative side. 3.7 to 3.0 on the TTM to 2.3. That's looking really good for a trend reversal. Same with this possible crossover inbound. The 9's still below the 12 though. So we don't have confirmation yet of that crossover, or at least of the upward move. Not without that 9-12 crossover, but I think that we're gonna get it. It looks reasonable. Up at 31 or 33, hitting a little resistance at 33, which I guess is to be expected. That's where the 26 simple moving average is. We got the 1 minute candle to make a new high though, all right, we're out. So we made like 300 or so back on that, and like I said, I thought we had room up to 35, which is right where this EMA 35 is. And rejected a little bit there at like 34.50, but we're about to get a cyan switch as well. We don't have this 9-12 crossover yet, nor do we have the 12.26 crossover. So I think that we have potential for a pullback entry, maybe down at like 33. Came down to 33.50, but not quite 33. New candle now, opening red. That's kind of what I want to see. I honestly would like it to pull back to around the 9 EMA and then bounce again, but I don't know if it's going to. It really just kind of looks like it's going to rip up. I cut that trade off 33. I'm gonna just try to join the bid. We're in at 33 and a quarter, so we got pretty close to our intended entry. It did end up pulling down to 33. We're very close to a cyan switch, so I guess it could have just held at 33. Unfortunately, it did not. But you know, here we are. 9 is above the 12, close to a cyan switch. There's a cyan switch. No 26 cross yet. Our entry is 33 and a quarter. The intended exit is up here at 36. I think that is possibly a little too aggressive because we got to get through 35, and that's going to be its own thing. So I'm going to put this at 35 exactly, and we're going to look for the exit off 35. It could just rip up right past and head up on towards 37 where the 50 EMA is, but being a little bit more conservative with it because the 50 or the 35 is still below the 50 EMA. All right, we got that trade. We're only down $75 on the day, so we basically made everything back. We've taken 9 trades so far. Mainly, like, we took a bunch of L's at the beginning. Ugh. So, like I said, I thought we had room up to like 35, potentially up to 37. We got that 1 minute candle that made that new high. We've got the cyan switch. We got the 9 above the 1226 crossover. This all looks really good for a trend reversal back towards the upside. Now, there's a couple things though that we're still fighting here. Number one, the 35 is still below the 50 EMA. So this is still in the bearish form. So we got this stuff in bullish. We got the TTM in bullish. We got the 35 below 50. So that's bearish. We got the 50 below the 200. That's also bearish. We're trading our chart below the 200. Again, bearish. And then we're all of that is below the volume weighted average price. So again, bearish. One thing I've also mentioned a couple of times is the 200 moving average has not worked its way above the VWAP. Now, that's not the strongest indication in the world, but a lot of the time when I've seen the 200 cross above the VWAP, we tend to get a longer drop that remains dropped for an extended period of time. That's not the case at what we have now because the 200 has been trending just below VWAP this whole time. TTM stack going from 0.6 to 1.2 to 1.9. So a stack of 0.6 followed by a stack of 0.6 again, 0.6, 0.7 in that range. We've got only a couple seconds left in this candle. We're also approaching the 8:30 volume spike as well. That's in about 6 minutes. This is looking stronger for upward momentum move. Might look for an entry off of 33 again. I'm going to do 33 and a quarter. Mainly I'm looking for an entry off the 9 exponential moving average. So I'm looking for a pullback here to the 9 and then a bounce off the 9 and a rip up through the EMA 35 up towards the EMA 50. Got the entry at 33 and a quarter, and I'm looking for a bounce over the next 1 to 3 minutes or so, maybe up to like 5 minutes or 6 minutes. So I'm looking for that to bounce and run up towards the EMA 50, which is right up here at 3675 or so, 3650 area. I would like to see the slope of the EMA 35 begin to point upward. So this slope does kind of matter. It would also be beneficial if the 50 began to point upward as well. because it would give us a little bit of confirmation that the 50 and the 35 are working their way up. So currently the 35 is at 34.82. Let's see where that ends up over the next minute. See if we end up maybe above 35 or right at 35, something like that. I think we got a good entry though off 33.25. It's right there off the 9 EMA. Our stack going from 1.9 to 2.3 to 2.8 to 3.1. So kind of some leveling off there. I don't like that. And we've rejected the 35 now. 1, 2. If it rejects here, we got to bail on this trade. I might actually just take the profit on this trade that we're at right now. 2.8 to 2.9. Yeah, I'm going to take this. I'm just going to hit flat, and then we'll see where it lands, because it's going to take a while to fill like it always does. Hopefully it lands us continuing to stay in the green. Still looking like it's going to continue to push up. It still hasn't cut it. Okay, we made 112.50 on that. We're up 37.50 on the day. We're back in green territory. Coming up and hitting resistance at that EMA 35. I think there's a good probability that we're going to pop up through it. There's 41.35. There's a tick through it. We ticked through it here as well. This one looks stronger to me. There is a little bit of divergence on the 12 and 26, which is what we want to see for an upward bullish move. TTM going from 2.3 to 2.8 to 3.0 to 3.2. So the TTM has begun to level off some. So we may actually reject here and continue to drop. The 50 is beginning to point north though. And the 35 is where the EMA 35 is also beginning to look upward, it looks like. Let's take a look at some of the longer time frames. Let's take a look at the 3-minute chart. Okay, 3-minute actually has been getting 3 yellow candles in a row. 3-minute is pretty reliable when it comes to the TTM. It's battling this 200 moving average though, which is right there around 34. And let's take a look at the 5-minute chart. We are approaching this 8:30 timeline here. 5 minutes still red on the TTM. We're about a minute out, just over. 9.9 to 11.9. 8.4 to 9.8. To 11.4 to 11.9. So kind of some leveling off in the TTM 5. Watching the 5-minute chart, because this is really going to give us a pretty good indication of this bounce here if it actually does happen. 5-minute yellow candle would look very nice. I think that we're going to pop at 8:30. So I'm just going to join the bid and see where we end up. We got an entry off of 34. Here we are at 8:30. TTM3 is going from 13.3 to 11.8 to 10.2. I put this in for 12 ticks, so I'm looking to get out at like 37, which is pretty aggressive. So you look at that 5-minute candle. Still red. This one ended at 11.9. The new one opened at 12.4, 12.5 area. Five minutes going to be a bit more delayed than obviously than the 3 and the 1. Three minute going from 13.3 to 11.8 to 10.1. So 3 minutes kind of stacking decently. 11.8 to 10.1. That's pretty bad. Or pretty bad. Pretty good. Why bad? Whatever that's about. Yeah, sometimes I bail early to get greens too, like a little too early a lot of the time. I'm trying to stick more to my trading plan as much as possible. It's not always easy. We're almost up at 37. I still think it's going to continue to rip. 37 is our intended exit, but I might just take profit here, which will only be like 1 or 2 ticks below our intended trade exit. And we're going for 12 ticks, so if I get 10, I'm not gonna, be upset. All right, we got 10 ticks on that. We're up 412.50 on the day in the sim. We have a possible 12.26 crossover coming in on the 3 minute side. So this is looking pretty decent today. I think we did a good job on this trend reversal of waiting for our setup. I definitely could have done better through here, trying to take 1 minute trades without verifying with the longer time frames. So I definitely could have traded better through that drop zone there. All right, so let's take a look at this 1 minute chart. 9's above the 12. 9 is also getting above the EMA 35, so that's looking really great. We did just take this trade here off 8:30, the time of 8:30, and we're getting a pretty heavy rejection there from the 50 EMA down to the 35. I don't think that this rejection is going to last. I could be wrong, but we're pulling all the way back to 41.35 and down to the EMA 35. The reason why I say I don't really think that this rejection will last has a lot to do with the 9 beginning to get above the 35. But if we look at the longer time frames over here, you see we're still stacking pretty nicely on the TTM3. And we don't have a new 5 minute candle yet, but we will in just under a minute. But I think there's pretty decent probability that our 5 minute candle may go yellow soon. Five minutes at 12.4. Remember, we opened at about 12.7, 12.6 or something like that. And then quickly went up to 12.5. Now we're at 12.4. So 15 seconds on this candle on the 5 minute. Running into resistance off the 9 EMA on the 5 minute chart. Chances are you're right around 41.35. Next candle opening up red. So this one ended at 12.2. New candle opening at around 12.5 with a possible crossover the 12.26 moving average on the 5 minute side. And a bounce up to 36.50 off of 35. It's a pretty good bounce. 6 ticks. Gonna get zoomed in here. Nine continued upward above the EMA 35, and the 12 is approaching it as well. So I'm gonna look to join the bid right in this area. Joined at 35.50. I probably could have got an entry off of 35. Let's see. So the moving average is pointed north, so I don't really like that. I'm gonna put this at 36.50 and go for like 4 ticks. We got some red dots. I'm actually going to cut this. Loss of 75 on that. I don't really care. Because it looked to me like it's going to drop. I'm glad it let me out so fast. It doesn't normally do that. This drop is probably temporary. But nonetheless, I still feel like it was the right move to just cut it. I think we lost 75. Actually, we lose less than that. We were at 412.50. 412.50 minus 375. So we only lost 1 tick. That's awesome. Respect the EMA 50. Man, I'm not particularly tired today, but I am like yawning a lot. Just needing like to stretch. I just think I just need to stretch and move. Probably hit the gym. All right, on the 3-minute side, we're still continuing to stack upward. Our previous TTM was at 7.9. We went to 6.2, which is pretty good. On the TTM, on the 3-minute chart, our 9 is approaching a crossover of the 12. We have a 12.26 crossover inbound, it says, but I think we're a little ways out from that. We did pop off this 200 moving average down there at 34 and bouncing up to 36 area. Got a little mini flag here on the 3-minute side. And we should have a new candle at 39, which is just in about 30 seconds. I'm gonna reduce our tick size here to like 6 ticks, and I'm gonna look for an entry off of 35. Maybe a little too low. I think that's too low. I'm gonna join the bid there at like 35.50. I'm anticipating a bounce on the next candle. Going from 6.2 to 4.7 on the TTM3. That's a pretty substantial stack up there. We're about 40 seconds out from a new 5-minute candle. This is pulling back to 35. There's 34.75. You can see this flag here. Now we are below the VWAP, so, we could just get a big drop, but I don't think we're going to. The TTM's been stacking smoothly towards the upside. We do need this 9 EMA to cross above this 12, though. I think that's pretty important to actually confirm this upper move. And we've got resistance at 37, which is actually our exit. Should have a new 5-minute candle, so let's check in on that. Yes, we did get a yellow on the 5. There it is. So where do we have room to? We're running into resistance on this 12 EMA, which again is at 36.50 now. This went from 12.58 to 12.29. It's decent. So our resistance level is really kind of in this zone here, but 35 has been a challenging spot for this for the chart right now. We'll have a new 3-minute candle at 42. It's just in about 30 seconds. This one went from 6.2 to 4.9, 4.8. Holding 35 pretty well as support. I definitely could have got a better entry. Maybe at like 35 or 34.75. That's okay. New candle now. We went from 6.2 to 4.9 to 3.5 on the TTM3 now. We are pulling down to the 200 moving average though. I think we need a pop on this candle. Well, I guess a pop at 845 would also be pretty plausible. At 845, we've been getting a lot of volume spike as well. So again, our exit is at 37, which is where this resistance zone has. You can see this is 37 right here, right where these two candles peaked. CTM stacking up from 4.9 to 3.3. It's a pretty strong stack, honestly. Maybe I should put an exit at 36 and then try and get another entry. But I think that would have been the move at the beginning of this. It would have reduced my risk though. How y'all doing out there, by the way? Probably gets about the previous close. Yeah, makes sense. What is the previous close at, by the way? Plus 350, so 37.75 is the previous close. 4.9 to 3.5 on the TTM now. This trade's kind of eating into our profits on the day. Here we're at 845. I don't like that we dipped below the 200 moving average. 3.6 to 2.4. I'm going to check this on the 1 minute chart, see how this has been stacking up. It's not stacking to the downside on the 1 minute. 5 minute is So that one ended red, 12.589, 12.64. This one's opening yellow. I actually don't like this trade nearly as much as I did. So yeah, it pretty much ate all our profit away. I'm just gonna look to get out on a single tick. It looks like this is going to pop on the 3-minute side on a cyan switch, but this 9 never got above the 12. And without that 9 getting above the 12, it's very difficult to confirm a move in the upward direction. So in the end, I'm going to say this was a bad trade. 3.6 to 2.3 on the TTM. I think that it will continue to go upward, but I say that this is a bad trade because I was going for that 37. I really should have been going for like 36. I also should have looked for an entry off the 200 moving average and not above it. Nine's still below the 12, which is not ideal. So and there's still potential to get out of this with a little bit of profit, but I'm gonna hit flat right here and just see where it puts us. So sold at 35.25. So we took a loss of a tick. Not bad considering that we had lost a lot on that trade. So we ended up only losing 37.50. Okay, this is looking better now. And I guess it could have held, but you know, there's always that risk. Set up popping up to 36. Putting an entry at 35. Let's take a look at the 1-minute chart. 1 minute's getting the red to yellow treatment on the TTM. Entered at 35. And 36.50 is my intended exit. I might drop that down to 36. So we put it at 35.75 and go for 3 ticks. All right, we got that. We're at 450 on the day. Time is now 8:49, and this 9, 12, and 26, everything is approaching a crossover of the 50 EMA on the 1-minute chart. This is looking very nice for a pretty strong trend reversal. Where do we have room up to? The VWAP up here at 39. There's 36.75. So this is our point of resistance right there at 37. We're right at the resistance area. I'm going to try to get an entry off of 36. There's 36 as the entry. I should have listened to my initial intuition. Initial intuition said 35.75. Let's pull down to 35.50. Approaching, okay, so we're at 850 now. Take a look at the 5 minute. 5 minutes continuing to stack. We got a double yellow. That's what we want to see. So we went from 12.6 to 12.0 to 11.2 on the current candle. This is a pullback candle now. 35.50 is where the 5 minutes at, which is not a bad entry. That's right off the 9 EMA. So 35.50 seems like a pretty reasonable entry point. Let's check this 3 minute, which is okay. We're getting a 3 minute cyan switch on the TTM. This is one of my favorite moves. So we've got cyan switch here on the TTM3. The TTM3 is, I should say the 3 minute chart is looking nicely, but the 9 still has not got above the 12. We're going to really want that for that upward move confirmation. And we're going to watch out for resistance here at 37.50, because that's right where the EMA 35 is on the 3 minute chart. But we really have room up to like 38, maybe 37.75. Pulling back all the way to 34.50. That puts us down 6 ticks in this trade. Popping right back up, as to be expected. Going from 2.2 to 0.7 to 0.3. So that's a move of about 1 point. 0.7 being on the negative side, 0.3 being on the positive side. This move about 1 point on the TTM3. We'll have a new TTM3 at 54, so we'll have a new 3 minute candle at 54. That last swig, it's always cold. This is kind of a heavy pullback, a little bit heavier than I want to see. It is bouncing off the 200 moving average, though, which is good. But this is heavier than I want to see on a pullback. Yeah, I don't really want it to drop below the 9 EMA. Really, I don't want it to drop below the 12 EMA. So 35 is kind of the line in the sand. We're approaching a 1226 crossover though on the 3 minute side, and that would really give us pretty strong confirmation of upward move in upward direction. Of a new candle at 54. It's in about 15 seconds. Currently down 112.50 in this trade, up 337.50 on the day. New 3 minute candle now. All right, so the 9 is getting a lot closer to approaching that 12 moving average. Is looking better for that breakout. You can see the flag formation on the 3 minute side. If you look in here, you can see this is kind of a longer flag, but it's there. TTM going from 0.4 to 1.5. So adding a 1.1 in momentum on the upside of the TTM on the cyan side. Watch out for resistance up here at 37.50, 37 and a quarter or so. Really just 37 in general. It's been pretty heavy in terms of resistance zone. Right now, hitting here at 41.36. We should have a new 5 minute candle here in just a moment. Right now, actually. So let's take a look at that. We're keeping an eye on the 1, 3, and 5. Mainly, we're keeping an eye right now on the 3 and the 5 because this is a longer term breakout. We're up at 36.50, 37 area. TTM 5 going from 12.0 to 11.2 to 10.0, and even dipping into the 9s. So this looks really nice. We may see a big surge of volume at the top of the hour. There's in about 5 minutes. And that resistance zone there is at 37.70. And we have our exit at 37.50 right now. 37 acting really heavy as resistance. I may just drop this down to 37 and just get out at that spot just because it's battled it so many times. There we go. We got that. We're up $600 on the day. I think it's going to continue to go upward. But the reason why I took that profit is just because it's kind of a long trade. And the longer the trades are, the more uncomfortable I begin to feel in them. So I just kind of like, you know what? Just take the profit, move on, look for another op. Nine is above 12 on the 1 minute side. All of it's getting above the EMA 50. The 35 is also approaching a crossover of the EMA 50, which would again give us further confirmation of upward direction. And we're popping up now to 37. You can see 37 is acted very heavily as resistance, but the more we consolidate in these zones, the less and less 37 is going to hold. And the much larger opportunity we have that 37 will actually become support, and we'll just rip above that. And here's that breakout now. There's a move up to 38. Okay, so this is looking very strong now for a nice rip upward. 41.39.50. Was that the previous close? 41.39.50. Okay, the ES is officially back to being green on the day. So we're gonna watch out for resistance right here at VWAP and the 200 moving average. I don't think that the resistance is even going to be very strong right here. Just because we have everything pointing in the upward direction now. 3 minutes pretty solid in a cyan move. And the 5 minutes even approaching a cyan. Watch to see what happens at the top of the hour. Look for an entry off of like 37.50. So a little rejection off of the VWAP, and some pullback, and then a rip out on top of that. I'm actually just gonna join the bid. We'll see where it puts me. All right, we got an entry off 38.25. Now I'm looking for a pretty large move up. We're at VWAP now. Here we are at 9 o'clock. So I'm looking for a move up towards like 45. We got to exit sitting at 43.25. We entered at 38.25. So we're going for 20 ticks. There's a swing now. Over the next 10 to 15 minutes, I'm looking for this to rip up pretty heavily. We got to get above the VWAP though. Watching this 5-minute chart at the moment. I'm gonna jump on into the 1-minute chart and see how things are stacking up there. One minute hitting resistance off of the VWAP as well. TTM going from 1.9 to 2.1 to 2.3. So it's slow moving. But all our moving averages are in the right direction. Looks like we could have got an entry off 37.50 like we wanted. Just need to be a little bit more patient. Right now, the 35 is below the 50. You see that there. But it did cross above the 26. That looks good. But I want to see the 35 get above the 50. Made it another minute for that. We'll have a new candle here in just a moment. There it is. Not quite there. Close, but very, very, just not there yet. They're off by about 6 cents. Let's see, what is this at? 39.50. So we may run across some rejections along 39.50, which is there at the 200 moving average on the 1 minute side. I'm going to reduce this order to try and get out at 39, really, because of the 200 moving average. I think that we'll get above the VWAP okay, but I think that we're going to get above and just kind of chop out for a while. That ran through my order but didn't fill. We'll collect up the cash again. Hit our order several times, but no fill yet. Okay, ran on through it. I'm just going to hit... Okay, there we go. Up 750 on the day. I cut that early because of the 200 moving average. And I don't think that the 200 moving average is going to be that big of a deal, but it could be. We may just end up chopping out here for a while, but I think that we have room up to like 45. Especially with some of the other time frames putting in crossovers and cyan switches and everything like that. So there's 40. We also have a possible crossover the 1226 on the 5-minute side. I mean, what a great trading day, honestly. Up 750. Went from 9.6 to 7.5. It's looking really nice on the 5-minute side. Where is... Let's see. So a little line in the sand at like 47. May look for a bounce entry off of the VWAP at like 39. So how y'all doing so far on this trend reversal here? Hopefully you guys were able to take advantage of some of it. That move back up towards the VWAP. The subsequent bounce off of 41.27, coming back up to 40. $13 move there. A lot of opportunity. Kind of choppy in terms of trading. It's kind of slow, but just curious how you guys are doing. Just took a long scalp on the XLK tech stack. Hey, $8 is $8. Green is good. Green is good. So, I may take a long off of the view app here, but you can see it's kind of exhausted at the moment. Um, we've been just kind of endlessly going up. I think that chart needs to consolidate for a little bit, and it may consolidate below the view app or above it. But I think that where we're at right now, we're gonna need to see some pullback. We're gonna need to see some consolidation and whatnot. People need to sell, take those profits, and lock them in so that they can trade again. So getting some pullback here down below the view app. I do think that this breakout is going to continue into the day. I just don't know if I want to stick around and wait for it. So having said that, I think I might walk with the profits that I have now. Took 48 contracts today, and the new contract rate is at 558, which is just ridiculous. I mean, if you're gonna raise this up a dollar, $1.20 or so, you may as well raise how much we get paid per tick. Just saying. So that's 267.84 out of 750. So that puts our actual net profit on the day at 482.16 in the green. Not a bad day. So almost 500 in the sim. Would have been a very nice day to trade in the evaluation. But again, we'll be trading the evaluations for a little bit. Although it's pretty tempted to pick up that fast track today at 50% off. I mean, hey, that's a pretty good deal. And you can get access to, a fast track evaluation. You can get access to $25,000 for $2,250. And there's no minimum days right now, no minimum trade days. So you literally can make $2,000 in one day and get funded, which is just awesome. So I think that's pretty crazy. And honestly, taking it on that trend reversal would have been a great time to have signed up. There is no monthly renewal, as you can see on the fast tracks. So yeah, you can take advantage of these. These are 50% off right now. There is a promo code. There's a link in the description, a promo code JSBEST that you can use right now to lock in a 50% discount on any of the fast tracks. You get access to 250 grand for $75. It's kind of like the deal of a lifetime. This does a profit target of 15,000, so you do need to trade likely would want to trade a little bit bigger here on the 250K, but that's kind of the point of it. So anyway, y'all, having said all that, I'm gonna jump off here. I'm gonna jump into our Discord community. If you guys are not in there now, you're gonna want to join. Yeah, we will see you guys in there. And from now, peace out, y'all. See you guys tomorrow, 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 market time. And remember, markets close on Friday. So, all right, we'll see you guys then. Peace out.